I'm a LEGO animator, and in this video I'm challenging myself to animate impossible LEGO animations. From twisting minifigures to flying and trick shots, these animations are definitely gonna be impossible. Anyway, let's begin animating.
Alright, guys, fasten your seatbelts.
Running at the speed of light is impossible, so time to make this figure run fast. When something moves at a high speed, you get this blurred look in camera. Traditional animators have been using something called smear frames to recreate that in animations. To do this with LEGO, we can build brick blurs like this. This technique was
How quickly he built that up.
actually used in the LEGO movie to make some characters move around fast while building. You put the brick blur behind your character and now it looks like it's moving at super speed. I've used this technique several times before to animate super fast characters like Sonic the Hedgehog. You can also use it for the Flash. I built a couple different lengths for different speeds. The faster you want the figure to move, the longer the blur. I animated the figure running at normal speed first to compare it with the faster one. And here's the one with the brick blur. The minifigure
Look at that speed. That's very fast.
across the base plate in less than a second. I'd say that's quite fast. Another way to animate super speed is by using multiple figures in the same frame. So I got a bunch of identical minifigures. You just replace the brick blur with the figures and they basically do the same job. Now I can make the figure run around this laptop at impossible speeds. But you know what isn't impossible? Hitting that subscribe button. I'm sorry. Let's move on. Separating two 2x2 plates stuck together like this
He's a master LEGO assembler.
is pretty much impossible. I have ruined many fingernails attempting to pry apart these pieces over the years. But there's a simple solution, introducing the brick separator, the perfect tool for separating LEGO pieces from each other. But one of them is not enough for this scenario. You actually need two of them unless you want to ruin your pieces. Place the brick separators on top and bottom like this and then press them together and boom, there you go. Now, my plan is to animate this action with stop
These are the fastest hands in the Wild West.
motion. But you might ask, why not just film it? Well, I wanna add a twist at the end of the animation, which can't be done by filming. Now both of my hands will be visible in the frame, so how on earth do I press the shutter button if I can't use my hands? Easy, with my feet. So I started animating and quickly found out it's really tiring to hold your
What a cute hairstyle this character has.
hands still in the air for such a long time. So I got these supports placed under my arms to make my life a little bit easier. Now for a twist in the animation. Once I manage to separate the pieces, they fly up into the air, held up with these long clear pieces, which I edit away later. And when they fall back down, they stick together again, making the animation loop around. The perfect loop doesn't exist, you say? Well, now it does. This animation was incredibly difficult and tiring to make. You could even say it was almost impossible. But I must say, it was worth the effort it took to make.
Look at the magic.
Next, I want to animate a LEGO figure teleporting. Now, teleportation is a very popular mode of transportation in sci-fi movies where you move from one point to another instantly. And it's unfortunately not possible in real life, trust me, I tried. But I can animate it with LEGO, and here's how. You start with the figure at its first location, take a picture, and then move the figure to its second location.
This is how stop motion design shoots happen.
Take a picture, and oh wait, that was it? Well, that was easy. Too easy, and a little boring. So, let's do another version with a little more movement. I'll add some wiggle to the animation, and that's better, but I can still improve it. Teleportation in movies often has a spiral-like effect, and I want to recreate that with LEGO. But I can't just add the spiral filter in editing, because that would be cheating. So I'm gonna try to create the spiral effect with real LEGO pieces. To do this, I'm gonna take the figure apart and move the body part
Filming is a very time-consuming process.
in a way that makes the figure spin and become smaller by switching the figures with smaller and smaller LEGO pieces until it disappears. And then just do the reverse where I want the figure to reappear. Now we have a teleportation animation which looks pretty good. But there's one thing missing, the teleporter. So I built a simple teleportation machine and animated the figure getting teleported by it. I think that'll do it for the teleportation animations. Moving on. One of my favorite things in the LEGO movies and games is how fast the characters can build stuff. Unfortunately,
This hairstyle is good even with a sad face.
it's impossible for a minifigure to do that, since it can't actually move in real life. So, next up, I want to animate a minifigure building something like a true master builder. And since I want the minifigure to build something really fast, I'll use the super speed techniques from earlier to animate this minifigure building the YouTube logo out of LEGO. I threw some bricks on the base plate and began animating, using multiple minifigures and the brick blurs I built earlier to give the figure the illusion of speed while building. And I think it
It's a YouTube button.
turned out really nice. The average person cannot jump very high. Meanwhile, the average LEGO figure cannot jump at all. So I animated a minifigure jumping. Now that's not very high. So, another superpower I want to animate are super jumps. But how do you animate a Lego figure jumping higher than a stud? You can't just stick it in the air and hope it stays there thanks to
Someone's about to fall on the hard table.
gravity, it'll just fall down. You need to hold it up with something. I like to use some Lego bricks and then stick the figure onto it with some sticky tack. And between each frame, I'll just add some bricks to it to make the tower taller. Once I'm done animating the jump, I edit the ugly tower away. I'll make a tutorial on this one day, so make sure you're subscribed. I also made an animation of the figure jumping onto a platform, and I used this very satisfying build made up of these hinge pieces to hold up the figure in the air.
It's almost like Superman.
Here's the animation. Front flips and back flips seem impossible. I know they aren't impossible. There are many that can do them, but for me, they're definitely impossible. But what I can do instead is animate a Lego minifigure doing a sick flip. It's done just like the jumping animations, but the figure spins in the air. That turned out pretty good. Let's see if we can do a front flip as well.
It's not just acrobats who can do somersaults.
Not bad. Next up, I want to make a Lego figure fly. And flying is of course actually possible if you have an airplane, but this figure doesn't. So I'm gonna animate the Lego figure defying the laws of physics by making it fly on its own, just like Superman. And we can use the same technique I used to animate the jumping animations to make a Lego figure fly. Here's the rig I used to hold up the figure flying. It's made up of these ball joint pieces for maximum flexibility in the animation. Anyway.
So that's how he does it with toys.
Here's the animation. That turned out surprisingly good, and I'm not done animating flying just yet. If I pop out the arms of a minifigure and then place them like this, I can make the minifigure flap its arms like a bird. So, I made this silly little animation of the figure flying away like a bird. Now for my favorite animations of this video. Trick
Now we're going to see an interesting plot.
shots. Trick shots can seem impossible as they require insane precision and luck. So, I chose a few trick shots I want to recreate with Lego. First of all, the classic bottle flip. I got this Lego bottle piece and then built a tiny table and then animated the flip. I then wanted to animate one of those ping pong ball trick shots. So I got this 1x1 stud to represent the ball and then built this tiny course for it. I then animated the ball bouncing through it and into the goal. Next, I animated a backwards basketball
How did he do that? Wow.
shot. And since I didn't have a Lego basketball hoop piece, I ended up using the plastic ring found below the bottle cap as a replacement. And I must say, it fits perfectly. This trope took a really long time to animate and edit. Here it is. I've seen some cool archery trick shots on YouTube, so I wanted to do that as well. I found this Lego bow and arrow piece and then used these round pieces as balloons for targets. Then I animated the arrow flying through all of the balloons in a single shot. By the way, I used Lego flower pieces to create the popping effect of the balloons. Here's the animation.
That's how you can replicate any frame in Lego.
Moving on from trick shots. Lego minifigures can do something we humans absolutely cannot do, and that is detaching body parts. So Lego minifigures can just pop up and do a full 180 with their torso, and it looks really funny animated. Also, if I rotate the legs 180 degrees and then animate it walking, I end up with a question. Is this minifigure walking forwards or backwards? Let me know in the comments.
Over 1,000 comments. Simply astounding.
One of my favorite animations are
That's it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.